Welcome back to Dukascopy TV, and you're watching the second part of a third-part series on Latin America. Today we're looking at Argentina, and today I'm joined by Juan Flores from the University of Geneva. So welcome. Now, obviously there's been a lot of problems in Argentina, and Argentina has refused to go under IMF assessment since 2006. Now, why is this? And of course, do you think they'll be forced to recommence this annual assessment?
I think that's highly unlikely. I mean, we have to understand that the IMF would work as an external agent that would probably have an impact on the way capital markets look at Argentina. Now, the fact that Argentina now is out of the capital markets actually takes out the pressure to the country to actually have an assessment done to their own economic figures. Now, we have to know, or we have to recall, that actually these economic figures are highly controversial. So the main case is that of the inflation. So the fact that there is a possibility that an external agent could actually put question these official figures, that would actually add to the pressure to the government to make a change in the way they do their statistics. And so there is no major need of the government in the short term to make a change in the way they release their figures.
And inflation remains stubbornly high despite sharp economic slowdown. Now, why is this?
Well, there is two parts of the story, which is actually one, and that's the fiscal part of the government. So since 2006, Argentina has stopped to have superavits in the fiscal accounts, and the way they can finance this is either to have an internal debt issue or monetary issue. So what they have done is to have the central bank finance these deficits, and of course the central bank, what it has done is actually to monetize or to increase its monetary issue. The monetary issue at its turn is reflected in higher inflation. Of course, now the economic agents have incorporated these expectancies into the future, and therefore what we see is that there is already an implicit 20% inflation target that economic agents have already internalized, and therefore if they want to continue with the system, the inflation can only get higher.
And the government has been under major criticism for the way it's been managing its economy and country. Now, what major obstacles and risks does Argentina face, and how do you think it will overcome them, or will they overcome them in the short term?
Yes, the government and the country are in a very difficult position. So we have to recall that the basis of the voters of the government right now is the most social part. So there's the workers, the peasants, and therefore what the government has tried to do in order to have this voters' basis happy is to increase social spending. The impact of Argentina's high public spending and higher inflation is to erode the purchase power of the majority population. This, of course, will add pressure to the government to change or to introduce some changes into the way they are conducting economic policy. So there is one internal channel. There is another problem that has to do with bottlenecks in the energetic sector. So Argentina has nationalized its main oil company, and what they need now is to increase investment in order to increase the production, and that has not been the case so far. So production is falling and the demand is continuously increasing. So that's another problem. And the third problem is what the relationship with bondholders, with the holdouts, bondholders, and with the court decision that's going to fall the 27th of February of this year. So that can have a negative impact on the way Argentina will deal with its creditors, and that may have a major impact in the short term. There's another issue that I would like to mention, that's the fact that we're approaching elections in October for Argentina's parliament. And so the government, in order to continue to have further support, will need to improve the situation of the people, of their voters.
And the government has said it will raise the floor of income tax eligibility by 20% due to demands by labour unions. Now, do you think the government is actually listening to the unions and to the public?
Yeah, in some sense they are forced to listen to them. On the other hand, the solution of the 20% rise of the income tax is only a half-part solution. We have to recall that the fact that inflation has also boosted nominal wages means that people that were not under the income tax are now part of the tax basis. So those people that are benefiting from this 20% tax eligibility, they have actually seen their nominal wages increase in the last year for 25%. But that means that actually they are now part of the tax basis, and if they have been increasing, have an increase of 25% in nominal wages, and the tax only goes to 20%, that means that that only partially compensates for the higher inflation that is coming to the country.
Thank you very much. And thank you for watching Dukascopy TV. Now that is it for right now, but Juan will be back with me in the studio for the final part of this series on Latin America, so do tune in next week for that. But for now, goodbye.